Too smooth that mud talking to have your ass in a wreck. You signing your check. Pussy better do what he says. We shutting down shows. Ain't gotta put no price in your head. Man, I'm coming for your tongue for all that shit that you said.
Gonna make the heat go boom, 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 boom. What it is, I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is. It's another day, another profile, and ooh yeah, dig it. We're about to get into one of my favorite, if not my favorite wrestlers of all time. Yes, indeed, I felt that if for no other reason, I should profile this individual. And you can tell by that thumbnail right there in a menudo style, in a motherfucking direct fashion. He's about to snap into it. Order, he's about to snap into a Slim Jim. This Volta right here, by far, one of the most impressive, technical, craziest fucking baboso-ass wrestlers there ever was in WCW, WWF, WWE. We're talking about, of course, the Randy Macho Man Savage guy. Oh, yeah, right? Randy Macho Man Savage, also known as Randy Poffo, born November 15th, 1952. You know, born November 15th, 1952, into a good family. You know, he doesn't come from the ghetto. He didn't come from the streets. He didn't come from living that life, that impoverished life, you know, where you don't really know what's going on around you, where it's gang infested, where it's dirty, where there's cucarachas climbing on the walls. He didn't know any of that. He came from a blessed family with a mother and father who were very loving and took care of him and his siblings. Now, of course, he was always very athletic, a very athletic individual, would go to school, would be a halfway decent student in school, had a good attention span, paid attention, you know, was just a guy doing what he had to do to make it through life, going through the motions. So anyways, eventually he ends up in college and comes to find out he's a very good athlete and starts indulging his life into wrestling and playing baseball, to which he is drafted. Eventually, over time, he becomes so skilled at baseball that the attention and everybody is looking at him, and he actually gets drafted to a major league team to become a professional baseball player. But somewhere along the lines, he started watching professional wrestling. For those of you that don't know, bang, bang, now you know. And he took he had a very keen eye, and he liked this. You know, he liked wrestling. I know growing up as a youngster in my hometown in Merced, that was a Saturday thing. ¿Sabes qué? Tito Santana con un flying burrito, bang, bang. That's all I needed in my life. A little Hulk Hogan, throwing a little King Kong Bundy, and ¿sabes qué? I was there. So he was the same way. You know, at that time, a young man, a boy, or even an adult, a grown man, it was kind of like a man soap opera, wrestling. Professional wrestling, it still is, you know. We're on WrestleMania weekend, so I watched it last night. So, you know, growing up, he was very adamant that he wanted to be a ball player or even a professional wrestler. So he started to dive into it. You know, his father actually had his hand in professional wrestling. His father, Mr. Poffo, decided that if for no other reason he should train his two sons to possibly become entertainment stars, you know, professional wrestlers. At that time, it was professional wrestling. It wasn't sports entertainment like it is now. So it's good. Do you smell what The Rock is cooking? Now it's the most electrifying type shit going on. But back then, it was more hands-on, mat, technical wrestling. And of course, Randy Poffo, who would later become known as Randy Macho Man Savage, excelled. He excelled in this, as well as his brother did, you know, the genius, Leaping Lanny Poffo. So anyways, he starts going through the motions. He's getting trained by his father, a very well-known figure, and he starts to get these backstage matches or these backyard matches and starts to come up through the ranks. Now, you don't just dive in like it is nowadays. You go to NXT, so next thing you know, you're in the WWF and you're walking that aisle, styling and profiling. It's not like that. Back in the days, you had to put in your work. You had to come through Smoky Mountain Wrestling, Northwest Portland Wrestling. You had to come through North Carolina Wrestling and all these different backyard type promotions in order to get to the big promotions, which at this time were the NWA, the AWA, and of course the WWF. Vince has always been number one. I can't call it. He sold his soul, or something happened, you know, along them lines. But anyways, so the Macho Man would have a lot of different names in the sport. You know, he'd be known as the Spider, as Big Gino, as Mr. Maddness, as the Executioner, you know, and such, and so on and so forth. And that's how it is in the game of professional wrestling. You all are given different personas, different names. Run with this. Why you call me the Spider? Hey, watch out. You have a little black dot on your forehead con un black widow, and look at your arms are all, you look like one spider. Fuck you, Spider. That's your name. Let's get bang bang. You know what I mean? Run with it. Why you call me Mr. Maddness? Because you do too much coca and you get all mad and crazy. Anyways, so he starts to come up through the ranks. It starts to be looked at, from Vince McMahon, who at that time his promotion was boom bangling in the 80s and into the 90s. Vince had just taken over for his father, Vincent Sr. And so this promotion was taking off. So, of course, they book the Macho Man Randy Savage, give him that persona, Macho Man Randy Savage, not only because these vatos, oh yeah, crazy, but also because at the same time, his true life persona displayed that of a macho man. He had a beautiful wife at the time, one Elizabeth Hewlett, who would later on be billed as his manager. And he just had everything that exemplified macho, macho-ness at this time. Everybody's always wanted to be that one macho guy, that prideful guy with a lot of machismo. And this guy just looked it, played it, ate it, drank it, smelt it. He just looked the part. So Sasuke, Vince McMahon, being the genius that he is, said, hey, Sasuke, watch out, come here. Nah, not you, baboso. Your name is Psycho Sid. Get over there. Puto. You, con the hair all fucked up with the funny glasses. Snap into it. Come here. Snap over here. You and, the wind's blowing. You and that fine-ass chick right there. You're Miss Elizabeth, but my name is Elizabeth. Sasuke, don't talking to, you're spoken to. But you just look, you know what I mean. And you're the Macho Man, because Sasuke, you exude machismo. So he became the Macho Man Randy Savage, a play off his name, Randy Poffo. And of course, I think his first match where I noticed him and everyone else noticed him was the Intercontinental title match with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat in Madison Square Garden. Now this match, you didn't know, is probably one of the most historic and classic matches of all time. And it's what actually put the Intercontinental Championship belt on the map. See, for those of you that don't know in wrestling, you have the heavyweight title, Sasuke. There's a couple of them now. It's all fucked up, right? But back in my days, it was the heavyweight title, the Intercontinental Championship, Sasuke tag team titles, and everyone else could fucking eat verga. That's just what it was. And if you were one of in those three categories, Sasuke, you were the one doing it. You were un hunky tonk man, doing your thing. But the Macho Man was actually put the Intercontinental belt on the map because this guy exemplified and exuded confidence, arrogance. He played the heel, and I've said it before in my Ric Flair spiel. If you can be that heel, not just play the heel, but if you can be that actual heel and make people hate you, man, you've done something right. Everybody loves a heel. Hey, no, I like the good guy, gun. Well, that's because you're a fucking jotito. Get over there. You know what I mean? Me, myself, say hello to the bad guy. I always root for the bad guys. The bad guys are the ones. And he exuded the confidence and the charisma to portray this bad guy because deep down inside, man, when you looked at Randy Poffo, Macho Man, that's what you seen. You seen a guy that was a little bit off his rocker, someone who didn't care what you thought about him. Oh yeah, just dig it. I don't care, Mean Gene. You know what I mean? Macho Man is America's cup of coffee. Yeah, brother, right? This is just how he carried himself, so he did it perfectly. Of course, that first match in Madison Square Garden with the legend Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, we will be profiling one of these days. They just have one of the greatest matches of all times. Of course, that's where the Macho Man did win his first title in that promotion. And he just took off from there. Now, you got to understand, throughout his career, a lot of people don't know this, but the Macho Man actually won 29 championships. He had 29 championship reigns, whether it be at World Heavyweight Champion, Intercontinental Champion, United States Champion in WCW, Tag Team Champions. This man did it all. Did it all. He was a 2-time World Heavyweight Champion, of course, in WWF, a 4-time World Heavyweight Champion in WCW, and so on and so forth. Yeah, I was winning, bitch, right? Dig it. This motherfucker was crazy, bro. I used to like his stilo. I think he put on some of the best, when they talked to him, the best interviews? This Vato could shoot a motherfucking promo like no other. He'd come in, yeah, this right here is taco sauce. Why? Because I'm going to put salsa on it. Yeah. That motherfucker was crazy. And his old lady, she was right there. Of course, his manager, Miss Elizabeth, probably at this time one of the most beautiful females on planet Earth, was right there next to the Macho Man, and she couldn't get the time of day or a fucking word out of her mouth. She'd be like, yeah, Macho, I said that's enough, bitch. Right? Macho Man was crazy. But at the same time, a lot of people could identify with his character, with his stilo, and the way that he was moving and grooving. So anyways, one of the most exemplifying things that happened in his career, one of the most, I would say, things that changed the whole perception of Macho Man and really put him on the map was when he joined up with Terry Bollea, also known as Hulk Hogan. What you gonna do, brother? Right? At this time, everyone knows Hulk Hogan was the man. He owned professional wrestling, basically. You wasn't going to do nothing in wrestling without running it past him over there up north or running it past Rick down south, Ric Flair. Woohoo, bitch, right? You already know what it is. He was down there styling, profiling. Hulk was moving and grooving on a Harley doing his thing. And of course, Macho Man started to gain notoriety and started to gain as much fans as Hulk Hogan. The Maddness was running wild. Okay, so they felt that if for no other reason, they should combine these two. And it was a storyline and form the Mega Powers. Okay, and I remember when that happened. So yeah, when they got me a shirt, Mega Powers, bitch, right? And I thought I was doing big things. You know what I mean? The Maddness and the Mania. And it was all good. And they played it to the T, you know? Of course, like I said, Vince McMahon is a genius. He's seen Randy Poffo, Macho Man, as a cash cow, as well as Hulk Hogan. He had been doing it. So why not join these two individuals that were gaining so much momentum and to help build his promotion? And he did that. And it took off. You know, everybody was all ingrained into it. So I was like, yay. They had Miss Elizabeth as their manager. You know what I mean? She was wearing, you know, her little culo was sticking out. Everybody was winning. You know, I remember I was looking like, yeah, I was scared. Dang, Miss Elizabeth. I don't know what I to do with that, but just I'm trying to snap into it. Anyways, storyline went eventually, you know, there was a falling out over Miss Elizabeth. Who would have thought, right? There was a falling out, and Hulk Hogan was able to put fingertips all over fucking Macho Man, tips and toes, and beat his ass and win the belt back. You know, at this time, Macho Man was the heavyweight champion. For those of you that don't know, refer to WWE Network. So you can watch all the old matches. Anyways, this was the highlight of Macho Man's life. This WrestleMania 5, the Mega Powers explode. I remember as a little kid, this guy did 3 somersaults, a cartwheel, and a backflip to get inside the house just to watch this shit. I already knew who was going to win. You know, I was a big Hogan fan, but Sasuke, if Macho Man could pull it out, I wouldn't have been surprised because the route and the way that the WWF was going at that time, bad guys were handling motherfucking business, and in that fashion. But it was the highlight of his career, you know. All eyes were on him, the world, the focus, the attention. And I'm not going to say necessarily because he was in a match with Hulk Hogan. That was part of the reason, but more so because of the way he carried himself, the confidence he exuded. Sasuke, ooh, yeah, dig it. The Macho Man was different. He was always just a little bit different. He had it down, man. When you think professional wrestling, some of the 3-4 people that come up in your mind, you say Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, Macho Man, Randy Savage. He's always in that conversation's top 5 on the Rushmore. Why? Because he deserved and earned it. You know, from a collegiate athlete who could have went the baseball route, like I said, was drafted as a professional baseball player and could have went that. We'd have never knew the Macho Man. It would have just been his brother, the Jotito, the genius. Oh, yes, let me talk about, you know what I mean? Could have been him. But instead, we got to see one of the best wrestlers of all time doing some in-ring action and on camera. You know, for that, that's great for me. He's one of the reasons that I'm a professional wrestling fan as it is, just because of people like him that carry that torch, that put it down, you know, that really put wrestling on the map. So anyways, he ends up going from WWF. Eventually, his star starts to dim a little bit. He goes and revitalizes WCW at this time and joins the NWO and gets caught up in that whole mix. We're going to be profiling the NWO pretty soon. You already know. Dun, dun, dun. I bet you can't wait for it. Oh, it's going down. I'm going to give you that whole timeline. But anyways, so he goes over there and starts to, you know, get involved in the reindeer games in WCW. And of course, his career's on a downslide now. You know, he's no longer looked at as one of the best. He's just a mediocre guy. He's getting older, and he understands when it's his time. When you're going to get put off the pasture. Your time to shine is over. But you did your thing. What are you mad for? I'm not mad. Who said I was mad? Dig it? You know, oh, watch out. That's the Macho Man. Don't fuck with him, right? Anyways, he ends up retiring in 2004. 2004, he hangs up the boots. He calls it quits. That's it. He's had enough. He's earned a good income. He's had a great life in professional wrestling. Like a lot of people don't know that Macho Man, you know, they expect Macho Man to be the biggest partier and cocaine addict, and he was drinking and indulging. He had his fun, but unlike Ric Flair and several other individuals we'll profile, that wasn't really his thing. He was more of a just him and his old lady type thing. You know, he was married to Miss Elizabeth for several years. Yes, she was his real wife. They end up splitting, and in 2010 he remarried his partner, you know, his wife. And everything went good from there. So he wasn't a big partier. Wasn't like you would think. Randy Macho Man Savage was a professional. He did it in a he handled himself in a professional manner. He was a family-orientated man. He was a good person. It wasn't like he was, and I'm just saying, because you party doesn't mean you're a bad person. I'm just saying that was not what he was into. He was moving and grooving in his own lane. You know, when you become that big, you move and groove how you want to move. You know, no one tells you what to do. You're the macho pinchy man. You do what you want. Anyway, so tragically, in May 20th, I believe it was 2011, Macho Man passes away. Okay, Macho Man passes away. He's driving in Florida. I believe it was either Seminole. I think it was Seminole, Florida, and he had a heart attack behind the wheel. You know, due to a unspecified condition that he had going on, and he actually succumbs to this heart attack right there on the freeway. In 2011, you know, and it was a big loss. It was a tragic loss, you know, for the whole world of wrestling, for people in general, because this guy, not only being a very charismatic individual and a household name, but I mean, this was the fucking Macho Man here, you know? Nobody wanted to see nothing bad happen to one of their childhood heroes. You know, a lot of people were, oh yeah, they were with the Maddness, right? And I myself, man, it was a big thing to me. I was like, man, you know, we lost someone who can never be replicated, repeated, started over. There's only one, right? There's only one. There can never be another Macho Man. They could bring some baboso on with long hair, and he's like, oh yeah, and someone will break his finger. 2 months later, he'll be wrestling in fucking Japan. We're talking about the Macho Man. And so passing away, you know, at that time, it was pretty big. His name was circulating at that exact time because he had actually dropped a video on YouTube where he was going back and forth with Hulk Hogan, and he actually challenged Hulk Hogan to the first ever, not fake, but real match in the WWF. Of course, Hulk Hogan never responded, so that left people to wonder what exactly was going on there, why Macho Man was very mad. Of course, after he passed away, Hogan dropped something expressing his condolences, his true feelings about Macho Man, and speaking of Macho Man in a good light. Irregardless of that, it took several years, and Macho Man was finally inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Okay, and people said, well, why did it take so long? Macho Man being on the Mount Rushmore, being one of the top motherfuckers there ever was, what took so long? Oh yeah, I'm about to tell you what took so long. Speaking of the word long, right? There was a rumor that always circulated, you know? Watch out, you're gonna hear it here first, because the wind's blowing. There was a rumor that always circulated that Vincent McMahon did not like Macho Man Savage after so many years of doing business with them, because meanwhile, on the meantime and in between time, he had a daughter named Stephanie McMahon that was giving Macho Man extra attention, right? And quietly as it's kept, this is a myth, urban legend, or a rumor that has been circulating the WWF, WWE for a long time, that of course Stephanie McMahon had an affair with Macho Man Savage, and he gave her the Slim Jim. And for that, you know, Vince didn't like that, so hey, what are you doing touching my daughter? Hey, dig it. I'm just digging it. Dig it. You know what I mean? Macho was in his mix and in his groove, and he was grooving with you like the Isley Brothers. And at the same time, Vincent didn't like that. Like I said, it's an urban legend. I don't know it to be true. I wasn't the cucaracha right there climbing down fucking Stephanie's G-string at that time. Anyways, somebody was. We'll make it happen like that. I'm just here to say that is what the reasoning behind not putting him into the Hall of Fame supposedly was for so long. Of course, he ended up getting inducted to the Hall of Fame by his brother, Leaping Lanny Poffo, the genius, the Jotitas, right? I call him the Jotitas. And he did his thing, and that, whatever the case may be, we won't be profiling him here. You know what I mean? Fuck him. Anyways, with that being said, I hope that you move fast with a purpose. I hope that you get everything that you want coming to you. Remember, out there in this world, there's heroes, there's people that we watch, there's people that we admire, and sometimes they're taken from us tragically, and they're taken from us. Remember, we all will have our time to go. You know, what you do in this world and what you make of it is totally up to you. You know, do you want to be someone forgot about, or do you want to make your mark in this world? It's up to you. And if you're not going to make your mark, man, at least give your kids the opportunity to make that mark. You know what it is, man. With that being said, I hope you like this profile. Hit that like and subscribe. There's a little bell right there. It's going, dig it, dig it, dig it. And if you don't like me, you can hit that thumbs down, because heavy is the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and do what I do. These wrestling profiles will be coming every Sunday. Next week, Oh, yeah, we got a great one. So snap into it. The gun. Bang, bang.